Lesson 3, Validating Your Concept. Surveys and questionnaires are a tool that you may use when you want to validate your concept, and it is as simple as just asking people. I kid you not. When you want to know the answer to something and you want to get the answer right, ask your target audience. Don't guesstimate it. And then ask multiple people multiple times. Sometimes, there may have to be a WIFM, WIFM, what's in it for me, to make them contribute their time to answer your questions, but don't try to direct their answer. Just simply pose a question and let them give you their own feedback. And this will assist you in whatever information you're looking to gather from the market. And again, the same thing goes with interviews. And then when you are looking to do a few conversions or some purchases, you don't have to outright establish your own store or storefront. So you can do what's known as a pop-up shop. In some cases, a library may allow you to set up shop there for, if you were selling artwork, or other establishments. Suppose they're in the mall or they have a kiosk, or, they may have their own standalone store. They may allow you to, come in for a day or two and introduce your idea to their customer base. And then from there, you guys can validate, is this a worthy pursuit, or, are we just wasting our time? So validation does not have to be an outright statement of the customer's interest in purchasing your product, service, or good. Instead, you kind of want to lead them there, not by giving them the answer, but just close enough, and then you pose the questions, they give you the feedback without you manipulating or directing their answer. And from there, you do your extrapolation and you decide, okay, hey, well, even though this was my intention, everyone wants this, or no one wants that. At least it either A, was not an option on my list, or B, if it were an open-ended question, no one replied with what I thought that they would want. And then that doesn't mean you have to trash your offer, just change it. And that may include adding something or taking something out. So again, I wouldn't ask you to do anything that I wouldn't do or have not done myself. So I am going to share video with you, just a few seconds to show myself in action going through these channels. And, it was a bit of fun. I'm not going to bore you with, 2 or 3 hours of video, but just a quick clip.
So we ask people, where do you plan to go? What are your habits and what's most important to you?
If you could go anywhere in the world, where would you choose to go?
Paris.
And what would be the most important part of that trip for you?
Maybe learning about European culture.
Oh, wow, absolutely beautiful. Would you do research ahead of time, or how?
Yes, I would before moving, I would like to know where I'm gonna stay, if I'm safe or not. Yeah, that would be my safe.
Yeah, and that seems to be the trend, especially amongst women. I just spoke with a woman a few moments ago, and she said, hey, safety for me is number one. Where do I stay? What if there was a service that could provide you a video recording of your establishment before you arrived? It would show you the surrounding area, and of course, also show you that it was cleaned and sanitized. Is that something that you would be interested in?
Yeah, that would be great. That would make me feel better.
Wow, yeah. And what if I told you that that is at no cost to you?
That's awesome.
Great. Well, you have been awesome. Is there any other plans that you have for the summer?
Maybe I'll go to Miami, or maybe just have.
Ooh, Miami. Okay, yeah, that sounds great. Would you take family and friends?
My family is not here, but yeah, friends sure.
For sure. Well, again, thank you so much. You have been amazing. Thank you. Indeed.
You guys are doing a good job.
Thank you.
So how
Video recorded cleaning sessions that we do offer, we thought, hey, well, let's create a series of these TikTok-styled videos designed to be shared across social, and terrific if they go viral, and if not, at least the objective has been met, which is to provide a bit more visibility for the establishments that become our customers. So in that, we thought that it's, I don't want to use the word easier, but it's a lot more realistic to maintain a consistent workforce that is within an industry that has already been going strong. And again, we have seen shifts take place within the world, and those shifts were just indicative of the fact that, we have to change. And that goes for employers. I believe it was Alvin Toffler that once said, the illiterate of the new millennium will not be those who cannot read nor write, but rather it will be those who cannot learn, unlearn, and relearn. And it's exactly what we're experiencing right now.
Let's consider the establishment that you stay at. What would be important to you about the establishment?
I mean, I'd hope that they didn't have security cameras and that they were clean.
No kidding. Yeah, so no hair follicles in the bed,
nothing like
lipstick on the glasses,
No
all that
cockroaches.
stuff. Yeah, no cockroaches, for sure.
So the best validation is a series of consistent conversions. Scientific method explain, okay, you know what? I'm supposed to explain scientific method to you here. And so I shall do. It's an article posted by the Arizona State University. This is not my original work. This was written by C.J. Kazalek and David Pearson and illustrated by C.J. Kazalek. So it explains the scientific method. In short, the scientific method is an investigative strategy that scientists or anyone can use when they want to solve a problem. So I may observe that, let's say, as they describe here, with a flashlight mystery, that my flashlight is not working. So now I may ask myself, well, why isn't it working? And then I could make an educated guess. Perhaps the batteries aren't working, or maybe the bulb is blown. And I would say, well, if I change the batteries, I make a prediction that the flashlight may possibly work. So then I run the experiment, observe my data, make a conclusion, and share that information. So that is broken down here. And there's, different arrangements in which you don't necessarily have to go in this order, but that's, typically the conventional order. And again, it's saying for your observation, you will either see, hear, or touch. And this is how, you form your question. What's going on? Why or why not? Or how is something working or not working? And then you form the hypothesis. And as they say, it's just a fancy name for an educated guess. You make a prediction. What will happen next? You run your experiment. That's your test. You analyze. You come to a conclusion. You share the data. You communicate that. And quite often, your prediction is not going to be correct. So you're going to have to go through this several times. It's not difficult, but a lot of us use it every single day. We just don't know it. And the reason I share the scientific method now is because you're going to be doing that when you are moving through ideation or developing a concept. You will identify problems, and your best bet is to solve that problem in order to create value for someone else. Now, a few details that would be included within the scientific method would be what we would first start with as a control group. So as it says here, a control group is a group that is similar to other groups but is left alone so that it can be compared to see what happened to the other groups that are tested. Okay, so you don't touch the control. This is just, so again, you have like an original sample, and I could say, okay, hey, well, this is what's standard before I began to manipulate with my experiment. Data. These are the numbers or measurements you get from the test in the scientific experiment, and variables. Something that you can use or test to change. So there are several different types of variables, and we'll start here with the independent variable. So an independent variable is something that you can change as part of the experiment, and it's important to only change one independent variable for each experiment. The reason being, it's just like when you do your A/B testing when you're running, let's say, your ad campaigns or hosting a web page. If you make too many changes at once, or more than one change at once, you will not know what yield the result that you were able to gain or observe when running your experiment, okay? Dependent variable, a variable that changes when the independent variable is changed. So this is going to be dependent upon this. And then again, we have our controlled variable. These are variables that you never change in your experiment. So again, this just goes through, you can practice this on your own. You do it every single day, which we do. And it's very simple. So here's a citation for this particular article, and good luck.